see, man, I'm not drinking Seth Rollins' tears tonight. Seth Rollins' tears are now out of style. They are a thing of the past. They might be brought back in the future. Tonight, I am drinking the tears of all the WWE sheep that reside on social media. Now, I watched Crown Jewel. I watched with eyes wide open. I watched very intently. I watched as the Universal Championship went on last to close this utterly boring pay-per-view. Seth Rollins, the Universal Champion, has had a miserable reign as Universal Champion. Burn it down, says Seth Rollins. Bro, the only thing that you're burning down is the Monday night rating for Raw. Miserable. On the other hand, we have Bray Wyatt, someone who came into the WWE with this new gimmick, or I should say returned to the WWE with this new gimmick with a lot of fanfare, a lot of intrigue. He came back with a new talk show called the Firefly Funhouse, and then he transformed himself into an evil clown that would make Corey Taylor of Slipknot happy. We got all this and we were all excited, and we were all anticipating what Bray Wyatt was going to do on WWE television after so many of us uttered the same feeling that WWE Creative took the Bray Wyatt character originally that they had and washed it down the fucking toilet. Now, I am going to be in the minority here because, again, there's a lot of WWE sheep. And for some reason, the beginning of October is now a distant memory to these people. I don't know why you are so programmed and brainwashed by WWE with what they currently put on that you forgot what had happened at Hell in a Cell. I don't understand why people get what they want, right? I'm in the minority. Yeah, we got what we wanted. Let me tell you something. The outcome of tonight was exactly what we needed because Seth Rollins was a abysmal world champion. Not only that, I don't give a shit who you put the championship on. They're not going to generate ratings. Brock Lesnar's not generating ratings. Cain Velasquez is not generating ratings. Nobody is generating ratings. But the simple fact of the matter is, Seth Rollins' title reign was so garbage that it was honestly bringing Monday Night Raw down worse than it has ever been in the entire year. From the Becky Lynch shit to the Baron Corbin garbage to this. The outcome was right. The outcome was right. No longer do we have that character that Seth Rollins is playing as the world champion on Monday night. The outcome was correct. But that doesn't make it right after what WWE did at Hell in a Cell. Yes, it's right by looking at what was Monday Night Raw's champion. But it wasn't right because they fucked up Bray Wyatt before they even came into Crown Jewel. It's not the same. How many times do I tell you that you only get one opportunity to make a good first impression? If you were not ready to give him the Universal Championship, then don't put him in a Universal Championship match, let alone inside Hell in a Cell. That was the ending that they went with. That was the ending that really made me look at Bray Wyatt and say to myself, well, if he gets another championship match, which we've seen tonight, and he wins, which he did tonight, I am not going to care as much as the first time that it should have happened. What did WWE do? They gave you some fuck finish that everybody justified, and now Bray Wyatt wins the Universal Championship, and everybody is justifying this outcome without thinking about the Hell in a Cell outcome, which makes you a fucking guilty party in justifying what happened in Hell in a Cell. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. Am I happy Bray Wyatt won the Universal Championship? Absolutely. I'm not fighting over the fact that he won the Universal Championship. This was 100% of the right decision. But looking at everybody react on social media to the match, which was completely fucking garbage, I don't know if I was watching a fucking remake of a cheesy fucking sci-fi movie or a fucking Last Man Standing match. Or Falls Count Anywhere, whatever the fucking stipulation was. Who gives a shit? The match was utterly boring. It was fucking boring. Oh my God, Rollins took a bump off the top rope through 2 tables. Oh my God, it's his fucking job to do that, okay? Curb stomp after curb stomp after curb stomp. Tables, chairs, sledgehammers, fucking fireworks, whatever. They went all out to make you think that Bray Wyatt is unbeatable. They went about telling this story with the fucking red light all over the place again. And everybody is justifying the outcome. Good. You should be. Because the champion that we had before tonight was completely miserable. But don't sit there and tell me that it feels the same. Listen, I don't listen to anybody. I don't listen to anybody that comes to me with an argument about why are you so negative? Why are you shitting on this? You're going to be in the minority. JD, I love you, but I can't agree with you on this. What can't you agree with me on here when I'm bringing you factual information? I hate everybody. I legitimately fucking hate you to your being, to your core. When you tell me, why do you gotta be negative about everything? Why do you gotta complain about everything? They gave you the outcome that you wanted, and you still bitch and complain. Let's see what they do with it from here on out. After that last line, let's see what they do with it from here on out. They're going to rebuild him now. What? Let's see what they do from here on out. I'm still waiting for fucking SmackDown Live being on fucking Fox for 5 weeks to be the SmackDown that we all expected. Are we gonna get it? I'm still waiting for this new era on Monday Night Raw that's somehow gonna fucking change the world. I'm still waiting for it. Where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it? It's nowhere. It's not coming. If you guys expect Bray Wyatt to really take the title and WWE is going to have some grand fucking plan for him, you are absolutely mental. You are, I don't know what you're watching. I really don't know if you're a human being at that point. I really don't. I really don't. There's a situation where we all agree that he is the Universal Champion, and that was correct. But please don't tell me, let's see what they do with it. Oh, he's the Universal Champion. Why are you complaining? Because you're the same fucking people that are now justifying what happened inside Hell in a Cell. I mentioned on that particular review that everybody told me JD was the best open that you've ever done on a pay-per-view review. The best open you've ever done. And I sat there and I said, WWE does not like epic moments. They don't make moments that are going to last a lifetime. For you to show your kids, for me to show my kids. They don't create epic moments anymore. So they gave that away. As if it was nothing. Bray Wyatt's first Universal Championship match. Bray Wyatt inside a Hell in a Cell. They ruined it. They squandered it. First impression erased. Now you're expecting me. You're expecting me to fucking look at this outcome that should have happened 30 days ago. And you're expecting me to have that same feeling on a second impression that we should have had for a first impression. Is that what you're asking me? I can't sit here and justify that, bro. I can't sit here and justify that. I'm not giving WWE their fucking due. I'm not giving them their credit. They rectified a mistake, but only half rectified their mistake. They ruined Bray Wyatt's character. Now where do we go? Now where do we go from here? Rollins is not the champion. Good. Good. I'm fucking happy. Let's throw a goddamn parade. Bray Wyatt's the Universal Champion. Now he's being advertised tomorrow night on SmackDown on Miz TV. Where do we go from here? We can't have 2 world champions on SmackDown. We can't have Brock Lesnar roaming around SmackDown as the WWE Champion. We can't have Bray Wyatt on that same brand when they already have a world champion. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? We're going to talk about that in this particular review. Let me catch my breath because there's so many people on social media right now that are absolutely clueless to everything that I'm trying to point out, and you just don't listen to me. You really just don't listen to me at all. I'm going to read you some of the tweets. It's ridiculous. 130 comments in 20 minutes. Nobody thinks. Nobody thinks. It's unbelievable. I hate you. Oh my fucking God. Just be happy for once, you nunts. Fuck you, Grim. You fucking clown. It's unbelievable. I think the only one in my entire comment section. Look, I just looked at it. J.R. Rodriguez, bro, I love you. I like how everyone is like, let's see what they do with it. Has WWE ever failed to do the wrong thing pertaining to decent booking? Chances are they'll do something equally as silly moving forward with one of their more over characters in recent history. Am I the only one who thinks this way? Is J.R. Rodriguez the only one who thinks this way? Why are you not thinking this way? Why is there so much positivity in a WWE right now that is spewing out nothing but negativity? Nothing but negativity. They've given you absolutely no reason to trust them whatsoever. Do not give them the benefit of the doubt. Stop defending garbage. Stop it. You're the fucking reason why they don't change. Fucking ridiculous, man. I'm sorry, brother. I can't agree with you this time. I'm fucking ecstatic right now. Yeah, so am I that Seth Rollins is not the Universal Championship. Let's dive into it a little deeper and find the real reason why we should all not be ecstatic or ecstatic, or at least as ecstatic as we are, because Seth Rollins is not the Universal Champion. Fucking ridiculous, man. Young Lion's Perspective says, I agree with you. They had their chance to have one of the biggest pops of 2019, having Wyatt win the title 3 weeks ago. Having him win it now doesn't mean anything. Glad he won the title, but they already ruined their best chance to really put Bray over. And the sheep will continue to cheer Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt will come out on SmackDown, and he'll be cheered and looked at as a hero. But nobody's going to think, because WWE has done a great job to blanket what had happened at Hell in a Cell. They haven't brought it up. They haven't really done anything or said anything about the outcome and the fan outrage. Nothing. They blamed us. They blamed us. Seth Rollins blamed us for the negative reaction that he's gotten. He blamed us. They did everything to justify that outcome. Everything to justify that outcome. Ridiculous. I still care. I still care. People are like, Negative Nancy over here, blah, 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 it was good. Jesus, dude, why are you so negative? People, JD is 100% correct on this. 1 month too late. That Hell in a Cell match just killed all the momentum of the Fiend. The damage was done. The red lighting is horrific, which we'll talk about later. WWE misses the boat on everything and tries to make up for it after the fact. Love you, man, Richard says, but I can't agree. Ridiculous, man. You guys got to open up. And I'm not talking about the core audience that watches me. I'm talking about the people who don't follow me, who look up WWE hashtags and then want to call me Negative Nancy or a fucking piece of shit because all I do is spew bullshit and negativity. Open your eyes. The company that you are solely going out there to support is nothing but negative. They treat you like a nobody. They treat you like a simpleton. Like a dunce. Give me a break. Unbelievable, man. We're going to go over everything. I got my notes. This is Crown Jewel. Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. We got Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. We got Humberto Carrillo versus AJ Styles for the United States Championship. We got Team Hogan versus Team Flair. And we got the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia between Natalya Neidhart and Lacey Evans. It's going to be a wild one. Thank you guys so much for joining me right here on the official Crown Jewel podcast 2019 on Halloween, October 31st, 2019. Make sure you guys follow me on social media so you can live tweet with me during all these shows. We did Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite. We did Crown Jewel today, and we're going to do SmackDown tomorrow on Fox. Make sure you guys are following me on social media at JD from NY206. That's both on Twitter and Instagram. Do that for me. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below if you want nothing but the truth when it comes to the WWE product from someone who knows what the fuck they are talking about hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell for all notifications. Also, if you guys missed any of my other uploads, including today, where we uploaded NXT and my thoughts on Finn Balor's great promo, and Tommaso Ciampa saying that Goldie is coming home and he's getting ready to go to war against Adam Cole, and also the Women's War Games match that was heavily rumored, officially confirmed and announced on NXT. If you guys want my full thoughts on that, 50 minutes of the NXT podcast today already on the channel. That makes Monday Night Raw Off the Script Elite for your AEW News and Rumors, AEW Dynamite, and then NXT, and then Crown Jewel today alone, man. So also, you gotta go check the description for all that stuff, man. Also, Friday, we got SmackDown, and then Off the Script, we have Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to do a Sunday episode as of right now, because I'm going to be a little tied up doing things. But right now, we got Saturday confirmed for Off the Script, so make sure you guys tune into that and check out everything you might have missed down in the description below. Make sure you guys also follow me on Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. And the podcast today is brought to you by Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys go out there and check out Audible. 30 days, free service, one free audiobook of your choice. Best part is, once you sign up, you get your audiobook. If you feel like Audible's not for you, you guys can cancel it anytime and keep your audiobook for free. Once again, guys, that's audibletrial.com/offthescript. Great way to support me and the podcast. Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. WWE Crown Jewel 2019 opened up with a battle royal, mainly for everybody that was in catering for the evening. A battle royal to find out who will go on to challenge AJ Styles for the United States Championship later on in the evening. So we had a bunch of people in catering, like I mentioned. We had R-Truth, we had Drake Maverick, Mojo Rawley, Sin Cara. Titus O'Neil himself was there. Now we had the 24/7 fucking losers, usually, that we see running around the ring or parading around chasing the 24/7 title. They were there. They all came out. The only ones that got entrances were R-Truth, Buddy Murphy, Eric Rowan, and Andrade. So they came out and they legitimately got entrances, being that they were the biggest of the superstars that were in this match. Drake Maverick was eliminated first. Rowan press-slammed him to the floor. Heath Slater followed. Then Tony Nese, Brian Kendrick, Eric Young. This is the order of eliminations here, if anybody really gives a shit. Sunil was in the match, but not Samir. So that was that. Titus O'Neil eliminated Mojo, followed by Sin Cara. And Titus O'Neil was dumped out of the ring by Apollo Crews. The one thing that I did pay attention to was the fact that when that happened, nobody mentioned anything about their prior relationship or the fact that they were even a tag team in WWE. Nobody made mention of that on commentary whatsoever. So, glad to see you wasted all of our times with meaningless storylines that now aren't even being brought up as far as commentary goes or used as a piece of information for this type of situation when they actually cross paths. Guess you wasted all of our time. Nobody gave a shit. So, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, they had a stare down. They're on separate brands. I don't understand why, because Eric Rowan's going nowhere on Monday Night Raw. And Luke Harper, I don't even think was drafted to a brand. So, they probably crossed each other in the Battle Royal. Hey, bro, how you doing? Can you put in a good word for me on Monday Night Raw, please? So, Rowan and Harper had a stare down. And No Way Jose came in, tried to break that up, started dancing. Harper just absolutely murdered him with a discus clothesline. Rowan then dumped him over the top rope, as he should. Akira Tozawa and nobody else. I thought there was somebody else. He tried to get in between Harper and Rowan, and then he got dumped out as well. So we had a bunch of eliminations. R-Truth, Apollo Crews, Sunil Singh, Buddy Murphy, Buddy Murphy, the guy that is supposed to be a megastar in this company, but WWE refuses to push him. That Buddy Murphy. So Harper and Rowan, Humberto Carrillo, and Cedric Alexander were the last four. This is the only part that really matters here, because nothing up until this part really mattered at all. Harper and Rowan were beating up on the two X205 Live guys, as they should, because they're a former tag team that WWE broke up, so why not join forces for at least this night and get rid of Carrillo and Cedric Alexander. So Harper and Rowan beat up both of those guys. Cedric tried to make a small comeback, but he was dumped out of the ring. He was eliminated. So when the Bollywood boys, Samir and Sunil, they got eliminated, they started to walk away as they were eliminated. R-Truth was still recovering from him being eliminated. He suddenly recovers. He shoved Samir and rolled up Sunil to win the 24/7 title during the Battle Royal, because the Battle Royal really stopped the rules of the 24/7 title. And when they got eliminated, the rules were reinstated, I guess. So R-Truth and both of these clowns were all eliminated, so free reign to pin whoever the 24/7 champion is. And that's exactly what happened. R-Truth is now like a 33-time 24/7 7-Eleven fucking get me a Slurpee that's the color blue with a bag of Doritos and a fucking hot dog title. All the geek wrestlers got dumped out, and that's pretty much it. All of them fucking ran around the ring. They chased the 24/7 title, and that's that. Just a scene out of Monday Night Raw as usual. Harper and Rowan continued to go to work on Humberto. Harper went to eliminate Humberto, but Rowan took the opportunity to dump out Harper, because why not? It's a battle royal, every man for himself, as Carrillo fought elimination from Eric Rowan. Carrillo quickly got back into the ring, eliminated Rowan to win the match, and that was pretty much it. So we go from Humberto losing to AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw to Humberto beating everybody that was in catering to get yet another opportunity to AJ Styles, but this time at the United States Championship. Please tell me why I should care about Humberto Carrillo when you've already proven to me and showed me and told me that Humberto is a loser on Monday Night Raw. He's not going to be Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander hasn't even been on the show since the draft happened. Have we seen Cedric Alexander since the brand splits have gone exclusive? I don't think so. Maybe I have, and I just fell asleep during one of those segments. But I don't remember seeing Cedric Alexander. What happened to Buddy Murphy? Buddy Murphy, he was built up by WWE in a great way. He had a great match with Roman Reigns that I absolutely loved. He beat Daniel Bryan. How do you fail to push Buddy Murphy after a Roman Reigns match that was fantastic and a win over Daniel Bryan? Leave it to WWE. Put it in WWE's hands. They will fuck it up. They will fuck it up. I wouldn't trust them to fucking boil a pot of water. Never mind fucking push Buddy Murphy. Humberto Carrillo is going to end up like everybody else that you had high hopes for, like Cedric and Buddy and Andrade and Aleister Black and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. They're going to end up the same way every single time, no matter where they come from. 205 Live, NXT, they're all going to end up the same way. Losers. Absolute losers. So, that was the pre-show. Then we started the actual show, which I was surprised by. Actually, I really wasn't, because this is Brock Lesnar's fucking MO. Let's start the show so I can get the fuck out of this country. Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez, WWE Championship match. It kicked off the show for the one reason and one reason only, and that's because Brock Lesnar said, I want to fight first. I want to have this match end as quickly as possible so I can get on my private jet and go back to Saskatchewan. That's all he wanted to do. That's all that was on his mind during this entire build. As soon as this thing was announced for Crown Jewel, that's all he was thinking. Kicked off the show. Cain Velasquez made his entrance. Rey Mysterio came out first. Brock Lesnar came out first, and then Cain Velasquez came out. But before Velasquez, Mysterio was introduced. And Mysterio introduced Cain Velasquez. So I don't even know where to begin with this. I really don't. They started circling each other. This did not start like a typical Brock Lesnar match, run at the guy, suplex him to death, and just prance around the ring, waiting for him to get up. Then the babyface makes a comeback. Then he eats another suplex, tries to mount another comeback, and then Brock Lesnar's staggering. He'll take one or two very, very close near falls, and then end up delivering an F5, and goodbye. 8 or 9 minutes goes by, and we got a WWE Championship defense by Brock Lesnar where he retains. Did we get that here today? Absolutely not. WWE had these guys start off circling each other as if they were in the octagon. Lesnar tried for a takedown, but instead took Cain and pushed him into the corner. Cain then started landing some strikes to the midsection. Lesnar takes him back to the corner. Cain then strikes Lesnar with a big kick. That takes him down. Cain starts striking Lesnar. Lesnar then puts Cain in a Kimura, and Cain Velasquez submits in about 2 minutes. That was it. 2 minutes. So, what I'm trying to figure out here is that you expected me to get excited over what you did by introducing Cain Velasquez on SmackDown for this match, and you want to build up the hype and build up how big it is and build up the redemption of Brock Lesnar and the scar that Cain Velasquez gave him, for them to go into Saudi Arabia, get on a jet, fly 17 hours for this show, and have this WWE Championship match end in about 2 minutes via tap out. I don't know what you want me to say here, folks. I'm waiting for an apologist out there to tell me why this was such a great match. This was the foundation of what a Brock Lesnar match with Cain Velasquez should be. What? You mean to tell me that Cain Velasquez, no matter how legit of a fighter he is, being that he came from the UFC, he should know how to wrestle. He should know how to last longer than 2 minutes with Brock Lesnar. 2 or 3 minutes, whatever the fucking length of the match was. Finn Balor, yes, the vanilla midget that you all call a vanilla midget, Finn Balor, lasted 9 minutes with Brock Lesnar. Cain Velasquez couldn't last 2. And you don't see an issue here. I don't know why. Maybe I do know why. Maybe WWE wanted to sucker the prince out of yet another fucking big payday. Yeah, we'll book the names and we'll just go about doing whatever the fuck we want. Don't understand why you're having all this hype and build for this match. A wrestling match in the WWE. And then all I get is a fucking MMA match that if I wanted to watch MMA, I'd go call Dana White up. I'd go subscribe to ESPN Plus and watch a fucking UFC pay-per-view, not a fucking WWE pay-per-view. You mean to tell me a guy that, as Cain Velasquez stands, as legitimate as he is, can't last 2 minutes in a fake sport? And I hate using that word. A stage or scripted environment. Cain Velasquez in a scripted environment. You couldn't have last more than 2 minutes against Brock Lesnar? This is what you wasted all of our time on? How can anyone justify this? What is the purpose of this garbage? What? Ratings aren't showing it. Obviously, it's driving people away. It's not bringing people in. Because if it was, SmackDown wouldn't have garnered the worst rating in the fucking history of the company. And yeah, it was on FS1, and I don't give a shit. Rating is a rating. It's not driving people to the product, it's driving people away. It's driving people away. You wasted valuable TV time on this storyline, on Cain Velasquez, on bringing him in, on bringing this outsider into the WWE. You're alienating your audience just for a couple of clickbait fucking headlines. Oh, look, WWE branching out into other sports. They're bringing in all these big sports athletes. They're grabbing the headlines on Bleacher Report and Newsweek and the Daily News and the New York Post. That's all they want. ESPN, Fox Sports, Deadspin, Up Rocks. That's all they want. That's all they want. And that's all they will give a shit about. And meanwhile, what they produce is driving everybody away. There's no way, not even a WWE sheep or apologist can justify this fucking match. You wasted valuable TV time for the likes of Buddy Murphy and Ali and Andrade and Aleister Black and Cedric Alexander and all these different types of guys that you brought up from NXT that you should realistically be building the fucking product around for fucking Cain Velasquez, for him to fly 17 hours to Saudi Arabia and lose in 2 minutes to Brock Lesnar, someone who he beat legitimately in a real fight. You can't justify that. You can't justify it. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to see a redemption story. People were telling me, why are you so negative about this? He'll win the Royal Rumble and then challenge Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. No! No! Cain Velasquez is not that well off to start giving him the Royal Rumble and give him a rematch at WrestleMania. They sold this thing as if he's going away. WWE wanted this for the headlines, and they wanted to keep him away from AEW. That's it. And at this point, what I'm looking at wouldn't have made a difference in AEW either. What are you keeping away from AEW? He ain't a ratings draw for you guys, and he wouldn't have been over there either. What you did was waste everybody's time, and on top of that, take TV time, valuable TV time, away from your actual roster on SmackDown. That I can't get behind. This was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yes, this is the standard MO for a Brock Lesnar match. That has to change. That has to change. Now he's not the only champion on SmackDown. Now we got Bray Wyatt as the Universal Champion. I might as well talk about this here, because I don't know what I'm going to talk about when we get to the Bray Wyatt-Seth Rollins match. Now there's two champions on SmackDown. We got Bray Wyatt and we got Brock Lesnar. Now, a multitude of things can happen here. I don't know what they're doing with the Survivor Series. I would not book champion versus champion. I would not unify titles. Brands are now exclusive. They are their own entities. They need their own championships. So unifying the titles is out the window. It's not going to happen. Now, a multitude of things can happen here. Now, obviously, the first thing that everybody thought of was Bray Wyatt's being advertised for the SmackDown show on Friday on Miz TV. Is he going to show up with the Universal Championship? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Now, Bray Wyatt is showing up on SmackDown, not The Fiend. The Fiend is who beat Seth Rollins. So The Fiend might be affiliated with Monday Night Raw. He might reside in the dungeons of Monday Night Raw. And Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers, is going to be on SmackDown Live. Now, I don't want that. I don't want Bray Wyatt to be portrayed as two people. I don't want this to be a Mick Foley like, oh, look, there's Cactus Jack. Oh, there's Dude Love. Oh, look, there's regular Mick Foley. No, I don't want that. I don't want none of that. That worked then. That's not going to work now. They could do that. That's the one option that I would not go with. Now, I don't know how many of you guys remember or care, but Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross were traded from Monday Night Raw, where WWE foolishly picked both of them individually and wasted 2 picks only to trade them to SmackDown Live for a future draft pick consideration. WWE could take that 1 draft pick that they got from SmackDown Live by shipping Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross over there. They could use that 1 draft pick to draft Bray Wyatt back to Monday Night Raw, but that would really go against everything that they've done. Like, it's just very confusing to me. It really is. So, he wins the Universal Championship as a SmackDown guy, and then WWE uses that draft pick to take Bray Wyatt back and put him on the brand that he was originally on before the draft. They could do that and use that draft pick for Bray Wyatt, which would then get the Universal Championship back over to Monday Night Raw and leave Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. They could unify the titles. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen at all. They could book a match with Bray Wyatt on Monday Night Raw where he loses to a Monday Night Raw guy on Monday. I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see him lose, period. So, I don't know what's going to happen with Bray Wyatt. The simple fact of the matter is, we could have champions on both shows that are going to be vastly different than what we got at the start of the draft. The last thing that could possibly happen, which I don't think that they would do because I think they're too fucking lazy, Brock Lesnar can be shipped back to Monday Night Raw, and Bray Wyatt could stay on SmackDown, but they would have to come up with a way to get Brock Lesnar back on Raw, and SmackDown is definitely going to want Lesnar on their show, because he is the guy. He's the one guy that they wanted out of everybody on that roster, because he's a representation of real sports. That I don't think is going to happen, and I don't want to see Brock Lesnar back on Monday Night Raw ever again. So having him on SmackDown, yes, it's the same shit on a different brand, but I would rather him be on SmackDown because it's just, with the Lesnar name and Monday Night Raw, it's very bland and very just outdone and boring. So having him on SmackDown probably is better. And I don't see, if Bray Wyatt stays on SmackDown, that they take the Universal title and change the color of the strap to blue. I don't know if that's going to happen again. I think WWE is very lazy. So there are a few different ways to go about it. Which one are they going to end up with? I don't know. Like I said, they'll probably use that future draft pick consideration to take Bray Wyatt back to Monday Night Raw and keep him on Monday Night Raw, because there were rumors that Bray Wyatt was heavily wanted and very sought after by Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman was legitimately pissed off that he could not get Bray Wyatt, and he seen Bray Wyatt get drafted to SmackDown, and it didn't do Paul Heyman any good. So Paul Heyman is a big advocate of Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. He wants him on Raw. I think that's exactly what they do with it. Lesnar is staying on SmackDown. He beat Velasquez. This was fucking awful, and I think this wasted everybody's time. Overhyped garbage that did absolutely nothing for anybody. This was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Cain is injured, I know. Cain is going to go back to training. He didn't have a lot of training. He's got like a year training, blah, 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 blah. I would have never done the match to begin with. Those are invalid excuses. Oh, he didn't have enough training, blah, blah. Then don't sign him. Stop with the cheap headlines and the cheap clickbait grabs and actually book your show with some fucking meaning and some quality instead of cashing in on something that clearly fucking failed. Everybody wants to fucking find the positive in the negative. There's no positive here. There's no positive. This is all garbage. All garbage. Totally unnecessary and didn't need to happen. Anderson and Gallows. They win a tag team turmoil match that utterly pissed me off to a point where I didn't even want to watch the rest of the show, to be honest with you. Lucha House Party and Rudolph, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler start things off. This was actually the best match of all the mix and match matches that we had for this tag team turmoil match. This was the best thing out of all these different combinations. Lucha House Party, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. They start things off. Lince Dorado is being beat up by Dolph and Bobby Roode. Dorado cuts off Roode, tags in Metalik. Dorado tried to take out Ziggler on the outside. He ate a super kick off the top rope. Ziggler super kicked Metalik. Roode then nailed him with a glorious DDT for an elimination. Pretty pedestrian and pretty, I would say, predictable in this instance. There's no way that anybody believes the Lucha House Party were going to get one over on Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder came out next. They started hot, and then within 30 seconds, they were eliminated. Ryder quickly was taken down and pinned by a spinebuster zigzag combo by Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Poor Zack Ryder. Flew all the way to Saudi Arabia for a somewhat nice payday in which he's just going to blow on action figures. I guess it's not all that bad for Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins at the end of the day, but obviously they should not be in a fucking tag team turmoil match to crown the best tag team in the world. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I think it's utterly ridiculous to even have these two guys in something that is going to be labeled best tag team in the world. I'm sorry. Heavy Machinery came out next. Tucker got the best of Dolph Ziggler here. Bobby Roode then came in. He cut him off. He got tagged in. Then they beat down on Tucker until Ziggler misses a splash in the corner, which prompted Tucker to tag Otis, who cleared house. As soon as he took off his shirt, crowd went crazy. He went for the Caterpillar on Roode. Tucker laid out Ziggler on the outside as Otis caught Roode, allowing both of them to hit the compactor for the elimination on the former Raw Tag Team Champions. They are eliminated. New Day were out next. I was like, okay, this is actually being booked in a better way than I expected. So we got the New Day against Heavy Machinery, which they've been buddy-buddy for the last couple of weeks on SmackDown. So the New Day were out next, minus Big E, or minus Xavier, I should say, because Xavier's hurt. It was Big E and Kofi. Kofi comes out flinging pancakes, not really giving a shit about what happened to, the WWE Championship. It's funny. Being that I mentioned Kofi Kingston, it's so hilarious how this got all lost in the shuffle. Nobody really thinking about this. Like all the people trying to find the positive in Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar. Look at what you did to Kofi Kingston, bro. Look at what you did to Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston was sacrificed for 2 minutes of a Brock Lesnar-Cain Velasquez match that at the end of the day, before we even get into SmackDown, is going to mean absolutely nothing. How do you feel about your boy Kofi, folks? How do you feel about that? You like that he was sacrificed for this garbage? I don't think so. Yet, nothing bothers him. Let's toss some pancakes out there. So we got the New Day out. Tucker and Big E had a nice exchange going back and forth. Heavy Machinery got, they got to beat down on New Day. Kofi made a comeback, laid out Otis. Trouble in Paradise. Big E tagged back in. Then he tags Kofi back after Tucker missed a crossbody. They hit the midnight hour to eliminate the Heavy Machinery. B Team are out next. I don't even need to go into what had happened here. If you think the B Team were advancing in this tag team turmoil match, you may be as dumb as the people who try to justify the Hell in a Cell ending with Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins. B Team are out next. This was very quick. Big E pinned Curtis Axel with a big ending. Very academic. The Revival came out next, and I'm like, okay, this is where we see if WWE's creative juices are actually going to be put to work. Are they going to put one set of tag team champions in this thing and then have them lose? Are they going to lose? Obviously, this is WWE. Do we expect them to do the right thing ever? Absolutely not. It is a very slim chance, a 1 in 1 millionth chance that they will do something right. And they did not do what they needed to do here. The Revival are out. They're going up against the New Day. So they have Kofi. They're working Kofi over. Kofi hit the SOS. Still couldn't tag in. Kofi then pinned Dawson with a cradle out of nowhere. And that was it. That was it. Dash and Dawson obviously upset that they were beat in a very fluke-like fashion. They beat up both Big E and Kofi, and they laid out Kofi with a shatter machine. And then they just rolled out of the ring, and that was it. They played their part, they did what they had to do, and goodbye. And they're SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Now, I did not pick up on it until after the match was over when they had a SmackDown commercial baked in to the Crown Jewel program. So, on Friday, we're getting Kofi Kingston and Big E to go up against the Revival in a tag team title match on SmackDown Friday. A, what have the New Day done to get a tag team title opportunity? And B, why did you need to beat them here? Why did you need to beat the Revival here if the match was already announced on Friday? Because you announced it on social media, and then I seen it baked into the fucking program tonight, into the live feed. Why did you need to beat the champions to justify this match on Friday to get the New Day a title match? How could you have a best in the world tag team turmoil and your tag team champions on SmackDown are losing and taking the pin? I don't get it. I really don't understand it here. This is what pissed me off. If you're advertising a tag team turmoil for the best in the world, shouldn't the last two teams in this thing be your tag team champions? I don't get it. WWE really fucked up. They really dropped the ball on this one. So the Revival are eliminated. Gallows and Anderson come out, and they went for the Magic Killer on Kofi, but Kofi escaped. He tried to tag in Big E, and Big E was taken out. Kofi ended up getting pinned with the Magic Killer anyway, very quick, because the New Day were blasted with the Shatter Machine. The Revival left them injured and incapable of competing. So Gallows and Anderson, the OC, picked up the pieces, and they pretty much went with it, and they win. And that was it. So the Viking Raiders come out. They're the last team in. This is, honestly, looking at it the way that they had been built up and just by the makeup of both teams, this should honestly be a little bit better than what it is right now. This should be a program for the Tag Team Championships. It should be a little bit more important, but clearly WWE doesn't care about tag team wrestling. Viking Raiders are the last team in. Anderson chop blocks Eric of the Viking Raiders as Gallows starts beating him down. Both tag out. Ivar gets the hot tag and the comeback. The two work over Anderson, go for a double team. Gallows cuts them off. They went for the Magic Killer on Ivar, but Eric breaks it up. Eric went for suplexes on Gallows, but Anderson, again, shot blocked Eric's leg, and then landed the Magic Killer on him for the upset victory. They win the tag team Turmoil, and they are the best tag team in the world in a match that had absolutely no meaning whatsoever when it was all over. How could you justify a tag team that is not your tag team champions being called the best tag team in the world? I don't understand that I just don't understand that logic. How can you get people excited for a tag team Turmoil match? First of all, how could you call anything best in the world with this tag team division when you have no tag team division? You've showed absolutely zero passion for tag team wrestling. And this is nothing more than a complete time filler on a show that you previously had nothing booked for. This was awful. This wasn't exciting. You made a mockery of both of your sets of tag team champions, and the Viking Raiders were undefeated. You squandered their undefeated streak. This is what you do. This is what I don't get. You're building up the Authors of Pain for a comeback, and clearly you're building them up to go up against the tag team champions, the Viking Raiders, right? Why would you beat the Viking Raiders here and not give that win to the AOP? I don't understand it. I just don't get it. WWE, again, squandering something. Yeah, you guys want me to believe that they're going to book Bray Wyatt correctly as the Universal Champion. Let's see where they go with it. They couldn't even get this right. And it's as simple could be. Fucking ridiculous. Yes, the OC wins. What does it mean? They're still losers. Best match on the show. Mansoor. He defeated Cesaro. This was awesome. This was absolutely awesome. And I think I love Mansoor more than I do Seth Rollins. He is the Saudi version of Seth Rollins. He is better than Seth Rollins. He is a better speaker on the microphone than Seth Rollins. And I know we have a lot of Seth Rollins clones. We got Seth himself. We got Mansoor. We got Ali. Right? So, one of them has to give. Maybe Mansoor. Maybe he'll rise to the top. Now, I know Mansoor has been a staple on these Saudi shows, and he should continue to be because he was easily the best thing on the last show, and he was easily the best thing on this show. And it also doesn't hurt that he's in the ring with Cesaro, because Cesaro is one of the most, probably the most, underappreciated and undervalued and misused talents in all of WWE. Mansoor went for a handshake. Cesaro said, nope, I ain't shaking your hand, man. Let's get down to business. You're challenging me here at Crown Jewel? I'm going to show you. Mansoor then hit a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Cesaro punched Mansoor. They went for a clean break there, but Mansoor dropkicked Cesaro out of the ring. Went for a suicide dive, and Cesaro, as Mansoor was flying through the ropes, nailed him with a sick European uppercut, and he left Mansoor hanging on the ropes. Mansoor, obviously, we mentioned Ali and Seth Rollins. He is very athletic. He's more so like Ali than Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins, he's not as athletic as he used to be. And he's a shell of his former self. He's more like Ali. Cesaro, obviously, in control here. Mansoor, the babyface, he was going to mount the babyface comeback. We all knew where this was going. Cesaro wore down Mansoor in the ring, submissions. He had a chin lock on him. He went for a sleeper hold. Mansoor then countered with one of his own sleepers. Cesaro countered that with a back suplex. Cesaro went for something off the top rope. I don't know what he was going for. But Mansoor cut him off with a big dropkick. Mansoor then started to make his babyface comeback, taking Cesaro out of the ring with a Hurricane Rana. Completely wiped him out on the outside with a Tope Con Hero. So that was followed up by a Tornado DDT. Cesaro shoved Mansoor into the referee, attacked Mansoor's throat, and rolled him up and only got a 2 count. Mansoor then hit a springboard neckbreaker, which looked very nicely done. Mansoor, I'll tell you what about Mansoor. He might not be your cup of tea, but from the last time I watched him, he's gotten fucking leagues better than when I last seen him in NXT, and even last when I seen him on the main roster. He's gotten progressively better. His moves look great. They looked believable. And every time he did something, it was very nicely executed. He didn't look out of place. His timing was right. He looked great. So this match definitely had my most attention on it compared to anything else on the show. So Mansoor hit a springboard neckbreaker. Looked great. Cesaro put his foot on the rope for that near fall. Mansoor tried to follow up with some big move off the top rope. But Cesaro cut him off. I believe he was going for a top rope hurricanrana, if I'm not mistaken. But Cesaro then cut him off, grabbed him on the apron, hit a gut-wrench suplex down on the apron. Cesaro then hit an uppercut, put on the crossface, and Mansoor countered with a pin attempt. Cesaro then cut off Mansoor on the top rope again and went for a gut-wrench off the top rope. But Mansoor countered with a sunset flip powerbomb. Looked really nice. Mansoor then hit a moonsault for the win, which was perfectly executed. This was definitely his breakout moments. He is going to be a staple on these Saudi shows, and I'm a big fan of Mansoor. I loved what I seen in NXT. I love it even more so now. And again, like I said, it doesn't hurt that he's in the ring with Cesaro, who makes everybody look that much good. He elevates everybody. And that should go to prove to you how valuable Cesaro is. When is this guy going to get a fucking opportunity for himself? That's what I want to know. And what is with those khakis? Please, give him his old ring gear back. Waiting to see what Sheamus does when he comes back. I'd love to see the Bar get back together, because I thought that the Bar was excellent. And I do not trust, even though we all know it should, that's something that I'd get excited about. That's something I would get excited. That's who I'd get excited for if he won a world title. Because that's something that definitely needs to happen. Now, I don't trust WWE to push him. I'm not holding my breath, even though we all know and are in agreement that he should be fighting for a world title. Give him a fucking opportunity. But if Sheamus comes back, I know they're not going to push Cesaro single. Pair him back with Sheamus. I'd rather see them together than both of them be separate, because they'll go nowhere separately. Mansoor cut a promo, like he usually does after these wins in Saudi Arabia. Said he wakes up in the morning and he looked himself in the mirror saying that this is the most important match of his life. He admitted he was scared. Then he stepped into the ring in front of this crowd and remembered anything is possible. This was the most important victory of my life. I cannot wait to see what we do next. We dreamed that one day there would be a Saudi star in WWE, and the time is now. There you go. I thought this was great. I really thought this was great. He's got a good presence on the microphone. He's very bassy in the voice. You believe what he says. You can tell he's very proud. And the crowd loved him. This was awesome. Tyson Fury, the other marquee match that was jammed down our throats today, because WWE doesn't know any better. Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. Tyson Fury wins, defeats Braun Strowman via countout by TKO. There you go. Who's a bigger loser than Braun Strowman in WWE? I can only think of one, Seth Rollins. Maybe you add Drew Gulak in there, and you add maybe Humberto Carrillo, Cedric Alexander maybe. But Braun Strowman has been a consistent loser for years. He is nothing more than a walking comedic joke in WWE. He is the new resident big man. He does nothing but lose. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I come out, I'm big, I'm tall, I run fast, I don't win championships. That's his MO in WWE. Yet I'm supposed to be fucking, oh my god, it's Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was put into this match to lose. Did he get the headlines? Sure he did. Did it generate any interest for WWE programming? Did people tune in to see Braun Strowman? Were they so enthralled with Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury that they tuned in fucking massive numbers to see these two square off and sign a contract? Of course not. Of course not. Absolutely wasted all of our time. I hope that paycheck for Tyson Fury was well worth it, because WWE were robbed. They wasted their money and they have no return on their investment with this shit. Absolutely none. If some apologist tells you so, they're full of shit. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Tyson Fury, he got a big entrance, tons of pyro. We got the Isley brothers playing, not really playing. The Isley brothers on the PA playing It's Your Thing. So he walks out to that before he comes out with his generic WWE theme song. I'm not sure what his boxing theme is. It might be the same. I don't know. I don't remember. So Fury came out in a Saudi outfit. He was wearing Saudi Arabia garb. And at this point, we all knew what the outcome was. We just didn't know how the outcome was going to be. We weren't sure if Tyson Fury was going to knock out Braun Strowman legitimately. We don't know if Braun Strowman was going to take a pinfall. But they booked it, and they went about it in the best possible way that they could to protect not only Braun Strowman, but also protect Tyson Fury. So, Braun Strowman makes his way down. Tyson Fury makes his way down. They got the big entrance, the fireworks and everything. They lock up in the middle of the ring. Needless to say, the collar and elbow tie-up attempt was a success. So Braun gets the advantage with a wrist lock. I'm surprised. He must have learned that in the PC because I never seen Braun Strowman do a wrist lock before. Because all I hear is that, Braun Strowman runs fast. So we got a wrist lock here by Braun Strowman. Fury did a kip-up out of the wrist lock, which I was like, oh, okay. Guy's 6'9", 6'10", he's doing a kip-up. I like it. So right now, he's exceeding my expectations. Braun Strowman then got the advantage. He missed a charge in the corner after Fury dodged, and he nailed himself shoulder first on the ring post. Braun Strowman then was on the outside with Tyson Fury. He tackled Fury on the outside. He went for his running shoulder charge. Fury cut him off and delivered what looked to be a Roman Reigns drive-by. So Tyson Fury leaving his feet, jumping on the apron, drop-kicking Braun Strowman. I'm like, all right, I gotta give the man his due. I gotta give the man some props. So Braun Strowman went for a power slam back in the ring. Fury escaped because the announcers actually said, well, Fury had that one well scouted. He was scouting Braun Strowman. So he did a drop toe hold, did Tyson Fury, into the ropes. And then he followed up with a big boot for a 2 count. Now, the drop toe hold and the big boot looked decent. The pin attempt did not. I don't know how he got those other 2 things decently correct, but then fucked up the pin attempt. The pin attempt looked awful. Braun Strowman tackled Fury into the corner and then punched him in the chest. Fury then sat up like the Undertaker. Braun Strowman tackled him back down. Fury then goes after Strowman with a big boot. Strowman came right back with a huge power slam. Strowman hit the running shoulder tackle on the outside after Fury had rolled to the outside after the power slam. Strowman ran around the ring, did the shoulder tackle. Then he hit 1, he hit 2. He threw Fury into the ring, but Fury punched him. Now, he knew Braun Strowman was going to come back into the ring. He timed his spot, and he punched Braun Strowman right as he jumped onto the apron, and he got knocked down to the floor. Braun Strowman, yeah, he sold it, all right. Braun Strowman sold the shit out of this right hand by Tyson Fury. He looked completely out of it, spit hanging down his face, his eyes were rolled over and glazed in the back of his head, and Braun Strowman struggled to make the referee's 10 count. The bell rings, and Tyson Fury wins via countouts, or what Michael Cole says, Tyson Fury wins via TKO. It's not boxing, motherfucker. Just like the Lesnar match with Cain Velasquez was not an MMA fight. I would have appreciated some sort of fucking pro wrestling. I don't want to see a UFC match. I don't want to see a boxing match. But in this case, I actually would have seen, or would have preferred to see, Braun Strowman get knocked the fuck out legitimately by Tyson Fury. That's what I would have loved. I would have loved to see Tyson Fury knock Braun Strowman legitimately out. So, this was not as bad as I was expecting it to be. It looked bad in some spots, but I thought this was decent for his 2 or 3 weeks in preparation at the PC. I didn't expect a Matt Classic. I didn't expect a Classic at all with Braun Strowman being involved. But as far as Tyson Fury goes, this was a waste of time. This did nothing to generate interest. WWE has zero return on investment with both of these guys, Tyson Fury and Cain Velasquez. They merely did this because they know that these shows are a joke, and they got by doing as little as possible. Tyson Fury, for the 3 weeks that he put in training, didn't embarrass himself. He didn't embarrass himself. He's a boxer in a pro wrestling ring. I did not expect him to come out and deliver a Johnny Gargano classic. He did what he did. He got by, and there was absolutely nothing important to note. That was it. After the match, Braun Strowman gets back in the ring, and he lays out Tyson Fury with his signature power slam, takes off his shirt, throws it at Tyson Fury, and says, and yells at him, "This is my ring, you piece of crap." Really, Braun? You're a 6'9", 385-pound giant, and you're spewing words like crap. Why don't you make it legitimate, bro? Seriously. This is where AEW's got the one-up on WWE. You got Jon Moxley throwing around shit. You got Adam Page throwing around the word cowboy shit. And here Braun Strowman can't say, "This is my ring, you piece of shit." Can't have him say that. You have him say, "This is my ring, you piece of crap." Give me a break. Come on. You're in the ring with a millennial heavyweight boxing champion and you can't make it as legitimate as possible? Just like this entire fucking build in this feud, based off nothing. What was the feud built on? Where was the legitimacy in this? What did this do for Braun Strowman? Nothing. What did this do for Tyson Fury? Nothing but line his fucking pockets with about $9 million. It's just a guesstimation. I don't know how much they're fucking paying him, but it is what it is. This was a waste of time. A complete waste of time. Fury got up. He was pandering to the crowd, and that was it. Moving on here, man. We got the United States Championship match. AJ Styles and Humberto Carrillo. He won that battle royal on the pre-show to gain this opportunity to fight AJ Styles for the United States Championship. Listen. I want new talent to be pushed in WWE. I feel like I have to make this clear. I want new talent to be pushed in WWE, but the simple fact of the matter is, I feel like everybody that we're seeing pushed, we wanted to see pushed in a better position. We wanted to see pushed heavily. And now, WWE is trying to backtrack on what they should have did, and now they're doing it, but it has this feeling of too little too late. And it's happening with everybody. It's happening with Ali. It's happening with Humberto Carrillo. It's happening with Cedric Alexander. It's happening with Andrade. It's happening with Aleister Black. It's happening with everybody that we want to see in that top priority role, especially in the mid-card. You got such a great mid-card here. And WWE has done absolutely nothing with it. They have not made or created a new breakout guy. They haven't given any of these guys the foundation of the platform to even make it to that next level. They refuse to. So how am I supposed to get behind a guy like Humberto when they've done nothing but present him, but then put him in a match and have him lose? Why am I going to care? Why am I going to care about someone that came over from 205 Live when you don't even value 205 Live? I mean, look at Drew Gulak. Guy's a former Cruiserweight champion. God had a fucking breakout year in WWE, and then you put him on SmackDown Live and feed him to Braun Strowman after Triple H has booked him the way he should be booked. He gets pulled from NXT, he gets pulled from Triple H's grasp, he gets put on SmackDown, and he goes right back to the gimmick that he had when Vince McMahon was overseeing 205 Live. PowerPoint presentations. He got away from that, and he went the old school route, giving us the Drew Gulak that we should be getting. Rough, tough from Philadelphia, strong style. Now he's doing PowerPoint presentations, and he's being mocked and joked on SmackDown Live. It's ridiculous. Yet I'm supposed to care. Yet I'm supposed to sit here and care about Humberto Carrillo. Sure. When WWE gets all their fucking eggs in order, and they start doing what they need to do so that these eggs hatch, and they become beautiful fucking spring chickens, I'm not going to give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, all of these eggs are fucking cracked and ready to be thrown in the fucking garbage. Humberto Carrillo, AJ Styles. Wasn't a bad match. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit about this. Because even though AJ is AJ really hasn't looked all that great on WWE TV as of late. And the fact that he's in there with somebody that this audience in Saudi Arabia doesn't know didn't do AJ any favors. And obviously, it didn't do us any favors at home because the crowd there didn't give a shit. This reminded me of the last time we seen this. What was it, last year? Around the same time? When we seen Andrade versus the Demon? Right? Didn't he come out as the Demon, Finn Balor against Andrade in a nothing match? What was it, IC title match or something like that? I don't know. I think it was the IC title match. And nobody gave a shit. Probably the best match on the entire show. Nobody gave a shit. Because they don't book these guys and they don't feature these guys like they should, so the crowd is not going to care. Everybody should be much more over than they are, and it didn't show here. So, Styles immediately charged at Humberto at the bell, got heat on him pretty quickly, started beating him down. Carrillo came back with a beautiful handspring elbow. AJ then planted him, hits a big brain buster for a near fall. Carrillo came back with a springboard arm drag. And that's the one that he does in the air where he looks all majestic in the air and he does that big arm drag off the top rope. Styles cut him off with a Pele kick. Both men now on the apron. Humberto hit a kick and a palm strike, which looked devastating. And that followed up with a drop kick. Big corkscrew moonsault to the floor by Carrillo. Humberto went for a hurricanrana, but Styles went for the Styles Clash, but Carrillo escaped this one this time. He didn't get away from it on Monday Night Raw. Styles went for the Styles Clash again, but Carrillo made it to the ropes. Humberto then sold the knee. He came off the top rope. Styles immediately zeroed in on it like a fucking sniper in Call of Duty sitting on a fucking rooftop somewhere, landing the calf crusher because he noticed the injured knee. Carrillo then had the calf crusher applied to him. He takes this and escapes, and then he's hopping on one leg, takes Styles down with one kick. Went for a moonsault off the top rope. He rolled through, and I swear to God, I thought he was going to roll through on this fucking moonsault attempt off the top rope and then not sell the injury on the way down. Good thing he did sell the injury, but he did come off the top with a moonsault, sold the injury. Styles avoids it. Carrillo landed on his feet, sold the knee, so this gave Styles the opportunity to get the advantage and lay out Humberto with a phenomenal forearm pretty much after that, and it was it. AJ Styles retains the United States Championship. It was a fine match for what it was. I'm not invested because WWE does nothing to make me feel invested. And I look back at Humberto and where he came from and look at everybody in a similar position to him. It's very tough to get invested on these guys, especially a guy like Humberto that we see and WWE doesn't put any resources into to make them feel bigger and feel more important. And every time Humberto comes out, he's going to constantly get that lukewarm zero reaction because WWE does nothing to advance that and make that better. They do nothing. And having him lose is only going to affect that and make that feel worse. So, this was a fine match for what it was. Not taking anything away from Humberto. He's got all the talent in the world. He's got a breakout fucking potential. But I just don't give a shit. There's no reason for us to care. So, after this, the OC come out. They got the Best in the World Tag Team Turmoil Trophy. AJ Styles is there. They're two-sweeting. They got the trophy lined up in the middle of the ring. AJ drapes the trophy with the United States Championship. So I guess that big boy contract for all three are coming back into play. How soon before we see AJ lose the title and the trophy is destroyed during a Christmas episode on Monday Night Raw? We'll see what happens. Natalya versus Lacey Evans. I thought this was taking place on the pre-show. I was mistaken. I tried to avoid this at all costs because I've seen it 5 times before this, but I was not so lucky. Listen, I don't want to shit on what this means. I seen the genuine feeling being emitted from Corey Graves when he talked about it. I don't give a shit about them breaking barriers. I don't give a shit about them going into another country and trying to break down the barriers of that culture. That culture is going to do what they want to do when WWE leaves. So all of this was done to appease WWE and push their narrative and get their agenda across. And now we will never hear the end of it. That WWE went into Saudi Arabia. They're the first ever promotion, sports company, sports league to go into a country like Saudi Arabia and break the barriers down and have women athletes compete at their show entitled Crown Jewel. We're never going to hear the end of it. They showed clips and highlights of all the fucking news articles that made this a big deal. I didn't even bother talking about it. I didn't mention it once before this show tonight. The reason I did that is because it is not genuine. WWE does it to further their business model, and they don't do it because it's genuine. Now, on the flip side, I don't give a shit about this based on WWE's agendas. I do give a shit about this based on who Natalya is. Natalya is listen, she is as dull as fucking dishwater. And I don't like seeing her wrestle, and I don't find any interest in what she does whatsoever. But I do notice, and I do appreciate the fact that she's been longer tenured there than everybody. And she's gone through the ups and the many, many downs that WWE Creative has given her. And I know for a fact that this woman, when she retires and no longer wrestles, she has a job for life in this company. And she's going to be a valuable asset, more so, I think, for her knowledge and her teaching ability for the young women coming up through the system. That's where her value is going to be. And when Natalya came out, I seen how important this was to her. You seen it all over her face. She was ready to fucking bawl out and burst out into tears at any given moment. She was all smiles. That is what I was happy for. I was happy for Natalya, not for the fact that WWE broke the barriers. I was happy that Natalya got to be a part of that. No matter what I thought about her previously, I don't think there's anybody on that roster that deserves it more so than Natalya. Simple. Lacey Evans, I'm actually going to be positive about Lacey Evans here. Not going to shit on this match because the match was nothing. It was just a political agenda to get their bullshit propaganda across. Lacey Evans was heavily cheered. Both women, by the way, were covered up. They were wearing long leg pants. Lacey Evans did not come out and do her typical burlesque bend over pose when she enters the ring. None of that sexy fucking, burlesque actor shit. No top hat, nothing. It was just a t-shirt representing their brands. I think Natalya had something pink on to represent the Hart family, and then Lacey Evans rather wore a red shirt, I think. I don't know what it was. Maybe a breast cancer awareness shirt, whatever. So they came out fully clothed, and Lacey Evans got a huge reaction from the fans. And rightfully so, because this was exciting for them. And for some reason, with the theme music going off and Lacey Evans walking down to the ring and she wasn't really acting all heelish, I could see her being a big baby face. Seriously. I could see Lacey Evans being a big, just by the entire presentation that we've seen tonight, with her walking down the ring and smiling and waving to everybody with the music going off. I feel like she could be a great baby face. And I feel like she's actually being, after tonight, I actually think she's being miscast. Honestly. I don't know what WWE is going to do with her moving forward. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I didn't really pay attention to the match because I just didn't give a shit. I was happy for the fact that Natalya was a part of this. Lacey Evans did very well as well. And the funny thing, the fucked up thing actually, it's not really funny, but it was funny in the moment because it's fucked up. When Natalya was making her ring entrance, someone threw a water bottle at her while she was walking down the ramp. So, obviously there were some people in the arena at Crown Jewel who did not agree with it. And it is what it is. So, Natalya wins here. She got the sharpshooter on Lacey Evans, and that was enough for Lacey Evans to tap out. Absolutely nothing of note here. Absolutely nothing. I have nothing in my notes outside of the ending. So after the match, Natty shook hands with Lacey. Then they posed with the women who were sitting front row. Both emotional in the moment. This was both clearly important to them. Michael Cole, he was twittering with his pen. He was very nervous. He was very emotional in that moment. Corey Graves got all choked up. Couldn't really comprehend what he was trying to say. He got tears in his eye. It is what it is. WWE's going to never let you live this one down. First one ever to go into Saudi Arabia and have their women athletes compete in that country. We're going to hear about it till the day we fucking die. Team Hogan, Roman Reigns, Chad Gable, Ali, Rusev, and Ricochet. They defeated Team Flair, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre. I thought this was utterly boring up until the last 5 minutes or so. And it really was. It was nothing but, honestly, to really just hone in on it and to really concentrate on time management here. This was a lot of back and forth with Ali being beat down, Bobby Lashley and Rusev going at it, teasing, getting their hands on each other, the referee holding Rusev back, Bobby Lashley taunting Rusev, back and forth. That's all it was up until the last 5 minutes or so. So, Rusev tags in eventually. So we get to Rusev being tagged in. He was the hot tag. He cleared everyone, cornered Lashley. They went toe-to-toe. Crowd went crazy. Lashley dumped Rusev to the floor. He walked into a Superman punch by Reigns. Reigns then sent Lashley to the outside. He did a big flying splash. He took out all of Team Flair. Reigns went to finish Randy Orton, but he went to go spear, or Superman punch. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a spear. He went to go spear Randy Orton, and Randy Orton caught him mid-spear in an RKO. So at this point, I'm like, it's got to be it. Nobody's kicking out of the RKO. The RKO is the crown jewel of finishing moves in this company. You got the RKO, you got the end of days, and you got the Black Mass. from Aleister Black. Those 3 finishing moves are protected. And Randy Orton's RKO has been heavily protected. Nobody's kicked out in recent memory of the RKO. So I mentioned this on social media. People are bringing up, it's a finishing move. Anybody could kick out of it. Or they were bringing up actual years in which Roman Reigns last kicked out of the RKO. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody gets my point. My point went right over everybody's head. Why, in this moment, did you need Randy Orton to do an RKO only for Roman Reigns to kick out in this moment? Why? Why? So the next time the RKO is done, it's not going to really mean as much. Now, is it because the RKO didn't legitimately come out of nowhere? Is that why Roman Reigns kicked out? I don't get why you would take something like the RKO and have Roman Reigns, in this instance, kick out of it. You shouldn't have had Randy Orton even do the move at all. It's ridiculous. Anyway, people just can't wait to get one back at me. Oh, but Roman Reigns was the last one to kick out of it in 2014. Nobody should kick out of the RKO. Nobody. How many years did it go before someone actually kicked out of Hogan's leg? Nobody kicked out of Hogan's leg. It's the same shit. Now, RKO, Black Mass, and the end of days. What's the next finishing move to be on the fucking list of X to be kicked out of? I like a finishing move to be a finishing move. If you're not going to do something like that that's been so heavily protected, if you're going to do something like that, then don't have someone kick out of it. Don't even do it. Don't even bother doing it. So then, Randy Orton seen Roman kick out, then he motions for the punt kick. This is another thing people told me. Oh, the punt kick's a different story. When has Randy Orton lately got the punt kick on anybody? He always goes for it, he thinks about it, he's got voices in his head, and then he always gets fucking stopped while he's trying to attempt doing it. So Orton motions for the punt kick. Chad Gable and Ali come in. They distract him, take him away from Roman Reigns for a little bit. Ricochet. What the fuck was Ricochet wearing? Why was he wearing what he was wearing? He looked absolutely ridiculous. You know what? I'm not even going to complain about it. I'm going to chalk it up to Ricochet dressing up for Halloween. Not even going to mention it. He looked ridiculous, though. He was dressed as a fake superhero, and I'm going to chalk it up to it being legitimately Halloween. But I know if Ricochet wants to be portrayed as a superhero, can you at least do it like NXT did it subtly? Like, maybe come out with some Marvel colors. You know, see Johnny Gargano coming out being dressed as fucking Iron Man. He's got the colors of Iron Man or Superman or Hulk, whatever, on his ring gear. You don't need to legitimately dress him up as a superhero and then have the commentary fucking regurgitate, oh my god, he's a superhero. He's a modern day superhero. Ridiculous. So I'm just going to chalk it up to it being Halloween. Ricochet and Chad Gable took out Team Flair as Reigns was left alone with Orton, which he eventually got the spear on Orton for the win. So this felt unimportant. This felt like exactly what we seen on SmackDown last week. And I just was completely zoned out at this point. What were they fighting for? They were fighting for the honor of Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. I, no doubt, find that these men were excited to be working with Flair and Hogan, respectfully. And at that point, I don't know what else there is. Hulkamania, baby. Team Hogan, baby. Was Rusev. Meanwhile, Bobby Lashley's going home to fuck his wife, Lana. So yeah, Team Hogan all the way, Rusev. Team Hogan, baby. Big black cock, baby. That's what Lana's going to be saying in the bedroom later tonight. Or on the plane, maybe. Mile High Club. Anyway. So we go to the main event, man. Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Now, I love the entrance. The lantern is still there after all the news and rumors about the lantern being axed from the act. It's still there. One thing that I would actually axe is the fucking red lighting. I don't know why the red lighting is still here. I want to see Bray Wyatt under natural lighting. I want to see the carnage under natural lighting. I can barely see anything with the red lighting. And I hope to God that with this Seth Rollins feud over and done with, that we move on to natural lighting. Cain didn't wrestle under red lighting for all that long. Neither should Bray Wyatt. And I doubt if you're going to do something along the lines of a Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar, I can't see Brock Lesnar wrestling under a fucking red lighted arena. So the red lighting is still there. Get rid of it. It looks fucking ridiculous. Back and forth. They start off. Seth already goes for the stomp, because why the fuck not? It's the one thing he did in the last match that they had 17 fucking times. Fiend avoids it. Wyatt threw Rollins into the crowd. They ended up on some platform. This was very WrestleMania-esque with the way it was set up. They had those big podiums around ringside in the crowd. They were on some platform there. And he threw the Fiend into the LED pole or whatever structure that was around ringside. But they were in the crowd. So they walked right back to ringside. And Rollins stomped Wyatt on the floor. No, sold it. Because fuck the stomp, fuck the guy's finishing move. He laid out Rollins on the apron following that. Wyatt tried to do a running charge into the barricade, but Seth moved out of the way, and Wyatt landed front row. I can imagine the people sitting front row, dressed up in their Saudi garb, were all fucking just very pleased with this demonic creature, played by Bray Wyatt, just landing at their feet. So, he goes through the barricade. Then Seth moved out of the way, sending Wyatt into the crowd. Seth took out a table, attacked Wyatt with something. I don't know what it was. He picked up the portion of the announce table that was on Michael Cole's desk, that little front half. So he picked that up. He started beating Wyatt with that. Meanwhile, he set up one table and then two tables on top of one another. So we got one table and then another table stacked on top of that. Rollins sets up multiple tables on the outside, and he nailed Wyatt with a steel chair. Very weak, very pedestrian-like chair shots by the champion, just like his title reign. So, after these steel chair shots, he then takes out the sledgehammer. The dreaded sledgehammer. Sledgehammer that ruined the Hell in a Cell match. So he set Wyatt up on the chair. He was about to hit Wyatt with the sledgehammer, but Wyatt then all of a sudden burst back to life, and he attacked him, throwing Rollins over the announce table. Not the American announce table, but the Arabic announce table. Rollins set up the Fiend on the announce table. Once again, Wyatt came back to life. He pushed Rollins off of the turnbuckle. And after that, Rollins flew into the tables that were stacked up on the outside. And he landed right through the tables and hit his head on the barricade on the outside. So Rollins, I don't know what he was trying to do with Bray Wyatt on the announce table. Maybe he was going to stomp him through the announce table. Or I think Wyatt did a senton through the announce table and he missed. And then Rollins was going up top. Then the Fiend popped back to life. I think that's what happened. I missed that part completely in my notes. That's exactly what happened. So Rollins went up top. Fiend burst back to life. He sat up like the fucking Undertaker. He meets Rollins up top. Throws him off. Rollins goes through the tables and he hits himself on the barricade on the outside. At one point, you didn't hear anything from Rollins, but when the camera got up to him, he went into full actor mode and started fucking heaving and coughing. And we couldn't see if he was coughing up anything, but he was selling his injuries immensely at that point. So Wyatt, then on the outside, after he hung around on the top rope just admiring his carnage, he went to the outside. Rollins still heaving and injured on the outside. He pulls up the ring mats, and he went to go plant Rollins with a Sister Abigail. Rollins cuts him off. Enziguri. He had a stomp on the concrete, on the exposed concrete. Wyatt kicked out. 1 count. So, using a chair now, Rollins took the steel chair. He took Wyatt in the back with the steel chair. He goes into the crowd. And I think there was another platform. Instead of the platform on the opposite end where they were battling near that fucking big LED podium that's set up for the entire ringside area, they were on the opposite side. And Wyatt planted him with a Uranagi. So that was that. Wyatt then dragged Rollins to the entrance ramp, up the entrance ramp. Seth stomped him. Wyatt then no-sold the stomp. So they went for the stomp over and over and over and over and over again. And that's all they did. Legitimately killing this man's finishing move again for a second time in a row. Seth then super kicked Wyatt, and this was the final blow for what I thought was the end of the match. Seth super kicked Wyatt, and Wyatt flew into the below staging area where there was a bunch of crates, bunch of production crates. He fell right in between the middle of the production crates. We got fireworks going off. We got fucking mock fire. Don't know where the fire came from. It looked like it was a fucking lamp that was emitting flames for absolutely no reason. So we got the pyro exploding. He falls into the electrical area. Officials came out. They start fire extinguishing the entire area. Seth made his way over there. Sparks fly again. He gets blinded in the eye by this one fucking irrational just spark that just came back to life. It wasn't done being exploded. So he got blinded. So Wyatt emerged from this rubble. And he stands on top of the production crate. He gets Seth with the mandible claw. And he pulls himself out of the production area. Then he gets the Sister Abigail on Seth Rollins and pins him to win the Universal Championship. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know what you want me to say here, folks. This was it. This was it. You had 2 matches with these guys. If I was to pick the best match of the 2, it was this one. Because that Hell in a Cell match was fucking awful. Absolutely awful. With one of the worst endings I think this company has ever produced. This one was a lot better. But it was not fun. It was not fun. It was overly gimmicked. WWE has taken this Bray Wyatt gimmick and they've made it cheesy. The electrical shit, the fire, the red lighting, the fucking simple fact that this guy has taken about 50 stomps between these 2 matches with Seth Rollins. After all that Seth did here, and then after all that Seth did at Hell in a Cell, and this guy is still winning the Universal Championship. How are you going to book Bray Wyatt from here on out? How are you going to book anybody to beat this man? Legitimately. How are you going to build up somebody on your roster that's going to be big enough, legit enough, real enough to overcome the mythical fucking essence of Bray Wyatt? I don't even think it's possible at this point. I really don't. I really don't get it. Was the outcome correct? Yes. The outcome I'm not arguing with you guys over. Was the match good? No, the answer is no. The match was not good whatsoever. If you thought this was a good match, if you thought this was a newsworthy match outside the outcome, you're a fool. You're a fool. Don't justify them making the correct outcome. Don't. Because I mentioned and ranted and raved and bitched and moaned for 19 minutes in the beginning of that show. I don't feel like repeating myself. But for everybody that justified this and said they corrected a wrong, you're openly admitting without admitting that you justified the outcome of that match in the beginning of October. For all those people that are saying, oh, let's see where they go with this. How dare you? How dare you tell me to see where they go with this? As if I don't know where they're going with this. The character's already ruined. Bray Wyatt's character does not feel the same. Otherwise, I would have been a little bit more excited about him winning the Universal Championship. And I emit zero emotion. The only emotion that I'm emitting is not for Bray Wyatt. The only emotion that I'm emitting is that Seth Rollins is no longer the Universal Champion. Mansoor could have won the Universal Championship tonight, and I would have felt the same way. As long as Seth Rollins is no longer the Universal Champion. But the Bray Wyatt character is nothing but a cheesy fucking particle of Vince McMahon's fucked up imagination. This is a Vince McMahon gimmick. It's ruined. Everything that Bray Wyatt has made us care about is gone. It's gone. The gimmicks, the red lighting, the fucking comebacks, the fucking mythical essence that this guy kicks out of everything. Listen, I don't want to see another Undertaker. I don't. I want to see a sadistic motherfucker who puts on a mask, and I don't want to see someone that's going to channel fucking the inner depths of hell and find power from some unknown source. I want to see somebody who is a fucking terror, legitimately, in a real-life sense. Because you're booking yourself into a corner. And no matter what they do, they're going to fail, and they're going to drop the ball on whoever ends up defeating him. It's not even going to be a point where if you beat Bray Wyatt, it's going to make someone's career. Because nobody's career is made in WWE. Nobody. This is not the same as it was during SummerSlam. They've wasted that one moment. And that one moment carried on to here, no matter the outcome of him winning the Universal Championship. I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. Am I happy for Bray? Yeah. Am I happy that Seth is no longer the champion? Yes. Was it a great match? No. Am I happy that WWE fucked up Bray Wyatt? No, I'm not. And I'm not excited about it. I'm really not. Because WWE has overexposed him. WWE has lazily booked him with the same match outcome, with the same fucking segment outcome. It's not exciting. And the simple fact that WWE parades this guy out in dark matches after Monday Night Raw every single week, in steel cage matches with Seth Rollins winning in 4 minutes, and then people take fucking pictures on their cell phone and video on their cell phone, and then we gotta hear it every single place we look on social media, it kills all the mystique of this fucking character. Why even do that? What about protecting the fucking character and protecting the gimmick? Would you ever trot out The Undertaker in the 90s to a fucking dark match and put him in a Hell in a Cell match? Or a fucking cage match and have him lose in 2 minutes? Fucking ridiculous. Nobody takes that into consideration. Why am I going to be excited for something that they knowingly fucked up on, and then you guys want me to sit here and justify, oh, they got the outcome right this time? You just don't know how damaging the outcome and the match was and the situation was. They could have avoided it all by not even doing it, but they did it anyway. You don't know how damaging that was leading on into this match. Everybody coming out of that was complaining that you didn't want to see this match again in this sense. Now that he won the title, I guess you're all okay by seeing the match now. So what does that make every one of you that wants to argue with me on social media? Fucking hypocrites. Getting out of here. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. This is your Crown Jewel review. If you enjoyed it, let me know what you think down below. And I will see you guys right back here for SmackDown on Fox tomorrow night. Make sure you guys check out the NXT review and the AEW Dynamite review. Those are now live on the channel. Other than that, follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. Make sure you guys also hit that thumbs up and that subscribe button. And I will see you guys right back here tomorrow night for SmackDown on Fox. Man, I can't wait. We got fucking Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin in the main event. Should be another dismal ratings extravaganza for WWE. We'll see you then.